algebraic expressions by using algebra tiles. So we talked about algebra tiles either last week or the week before, actually a couple weeks ago. We talked about what they mean. We've been working on multiplying algebra, or monomials with polynomials. We've done all that. We've talked about solving equations. The next step that we're going to talk about is how can we use algebra tiles as a visual to help us find the simplified answer when we're multiplying algebraic expressions. So after today, you should be able to use algebra tiles to model that. Now, on your paper, I know you guys don't have algebra tiles, but on your paper, I would like to see you just sketch rectangles and label them with the 1, the x, the -1, the x squared, so you have that visual. Algebra tiles was actually something new to me when we started this program with the new curriculum. And actually, the more I use it, the more I really like the fact that it offers up this visual. It's called an area model. It offers up this visual for multiplying polynomials. Oops. So slide 2, this is just a reminder of what those slides are. So when you go back to look at it, just in case you need to remember for some reason what they all look like. Now, if I move up to slide 3, this is going to be our first example. So on your paper, what I would like you to do is write the directions. So use algebra tiles to multiply. I would like to see 2 times the quantity of x plus 3 on your paper. And then I want you to sketch what you see here on this right-hand side. That includes the 2, that includes the x plus 3, and then I want you to sketch the rectangles and the squares on your paper so I can show you what's going to happen with the area model. Where this gray rectangle is, by the way, there's stuff underneath it. So right now, just leave underneath that blank. Again, you should be sketching what you see here on this page, where those algebra tiles are and those algebraic expressions. Just so I can have a heads up when you are ready to continue, can you just click the little raise hand button on your Chromebook when you are all set with the problem drawn on your paper? And I will wait for most of you to get there, so just click the little raise hand when you've got it drawn. Again, if you click the little raise hand button when you've got that diagram sketched on your paper, I would appreciate that. All right, most of you have your hands up. Thank you. Go ahead and take those hands down. I don't want your arm to be sore. Wah, wah. All right, so here's what's going to happen. When you use the area model like this, I want you to think back to when you learned about times tables. Okay, and when you learned about times tables and you had them set up, you learned how to multiply the term on the top with the term on the side, and then you filled in underneath where that little X thing is, right? So again, notice I brought the 2. Grab a pen here. Notice I brought the 2 from this algebraic expression, and I wrote it here. I could have put it up here in the top. It doesn't matter where you put it. And I brought the x plus 3 from the original expression. It is up here. Again, I could have switched the order. That is not going to matter in terms of what we're doing. So from here, you're going to multiply whatever is outside the little T-chart thing with each other. So I'm going to do 1 times x. I'm going to do 1 times 1. I'm going to do 1 times 1. And I'm going to do 1 times 1. Okay, 1 times x gives me x. 1 times 1, 1 times 1, 1 times 1. So take a moment and fill that in also. And then because I've got 2, right, I've got another one of the exact same thing, I would do the exact same process. I would do this 1 times x, 1 times 1, 1 times 1, and 1 times 1. So you'll see underneath here when I move this gray rectangle that it fills it completely in. Okay, so take a moment, please, to sketch those rectangles underneath. Again, this is what we call an area model. And again, when you have that sketched, please click the little raise hand button so I know when we're ready to move on. All right, most of you are ready. So I would imagine those of you who don't have your little hands up yet, you should be close to having it sketched. Again, you want the inside to be completely filled in. Hopefully you've labeled those rectangles that you have underneath. Go ahead and put your hands down again. And then once you have it filled in underneath, you're going to simplify, combine those terms like you did on the lesson 6 Google Slides, where you simplify all of your algebra tiles together. So as I look at it, I notice that I've got 2 x's, and I have 1, 2, 3, 3 times 2 is 6. I've got 6 1s. So my algebraic expression, when I multiply 2 times x plus 3, it does give me 2x plus 6. Now, this is very similar to what we did, I think, on either assignment 8 or 9, or both, actually. But again, this is using the area model to demonstrate and show why and how that works. Lily, Sophia, or Betsaida, do either of you have a question? No? Okay. All right, just want to make sure. All right, so let's do another example. So it's going to be the same thing. This one I don't have it set up like before. So I'm trying to, this is called scaffolding. Okay, so we've got another one. I've got 4 times the quantity of 2x plus 3. So please take a moment and sketch what you see here on this right side of the mat. Again, when you have it sketched, not the underneath part, or I guess if you're comfortable, but when you've got the outside part sketched on your paper, go ahead and raise your hand. Once you raise your hand there to let me know you've got the outside part done, go ahead and start filling in. Leave your hand up, but go ahead and start filling in underneath it as well. And as soon as I see most hands raised, I will go through the drag and drop part, because you're actually going to do something similar for your homework. It's going to be like the lesson 6. You're going to do Google Slides again. Again, please click the little raise hand button when you've got this sketched on your paper, so I know you're ready for the next part. All right, I'm going to go on. So go ahead and take your hands down if you'd like. So again, the whole idea is we're going to multiply what's outside the parentheses with parentheses outside each of the parts on the line. So I'm going to do 1 times x. And I know that 1 times x is just x. So I'm going to grab a tile and move it up here. On your paper, go ahead and sketch that underneath. And I'm going to drag another one because 1 times x. And then I'm going to be a little creative here. I know that I'm going to do that 4 times. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it. Bring it down. Paste it. Bring it down. Paste it. Bring it down. Now, when you do this on your Google slide, just so you know, over here you have stacks of tiles as well that you'll be able to drag and drop if you want to do that also. So again, sketch this on your paper. And again, the next thing that we need to do then is multiply this positive 1 and this negative 1. And I know 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 as well. So I'm going to drag and drop 1. Get an error message. 2. Oh my goodness. Let me drag it. 2. Thank you. And 3. And if you didn't know how to highlight multiple things, if you hold the control button and click it so they're all highlighted, and then you can copy it. Again, I'm going to copy and paste because it's the same thing going down 3 more times, right? So I'm going to Control C as copy, and then Control V as in Victor is paste. And I'm just going to do that multiple times. I've got all my algebra tiles there. Okay, so go ahead and get that sketched underneath. And then the very last thing that you do, like we did on the example before, is you add in, or excuse me, you combine those terms with the algebra tiles. So once you have this sketched down, then I want you to combine all those terms and then write your answer somewhere on there. When you're done with the sketch underneath and you also have your answer, go ahead and raise your hand on your Chromebook so that I know when we are all ready for that answer to be revealed. Well, you guys are so fast. Look at some of you. You had your hands up before you even said it. It's kind of fun to watch the little dots pop on. It's kind of like watching, if you've ever been to a bingo place where they pull the little bingo balls and the dots light up on the screen. Look at you guys. Nicely done. So this answer should end up being, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8x, and then 3, 6, 9, 12, 3x minus 12. Oops, let me move me out of the way. what did I say? I think I said 3x. I meant 8x. 8x minus 12, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8x minus 12. Before we do our one last example, what questions do you have? Okay, take your hands down. I think we're going to do this one on our own. Oops. You know what? I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm going to set this one up for you. Let me move these two rectangles for you. Now this one I have it where you just have the algebraic expressions on the outsides. And now I want you to drag or sketch what you would have on the outsides, do underneath, and show me your answer. To unclick your hands, so again, on your paper, I want you to sketch this problem out using the algebra tiles. I'm going to set a timer for, I'm going to set it for 3 minutes and we'll check to see where you're at in 3 minutes. Again, when you're finished with this whole problem, raise your hand, click the little raise hand button, and we will go from there. All right, I see a bunch of you with your hands up. Got another minute and 15 seconds. When you've got this problem entirely finished, go ahead and click the raise hand button. It's going to be something like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you'd have this for the outside. Round the outside, round the outside. Isn't that a song? Round the outside. I don't even know the words. All right. So there's your 3x and your x plus 1. Then underneath, I'm kind of leading you in terms of what it should be, right? So you need 3x squareds. Now notice the other thing that you hopefully noticed is that if you think of the height of the x and the width of the x, when you put them together, they do make that x squared. So I need one more here. I'm in the way again. Look at me. Move me over. Move over. All right, and then I need to put these guys here, right? X times 1 So your final answer, drop it in the chat. What's the final simplified answer? Go ahead and unraise your hand. In the chat, type that final answer that you got here. Go. Oh, Lily figured out how to use the exponents on there. Cool, Lily. How'd you get that little exponent up there, Lily? I would have done the little caret thing like everybody else is doing. Nice, you guys. Nice. All right, so there you have it. That's today's lesson. So here's your closure for today. All right, what's the most important thing about the tiles as you fill in the area model? I said it early on when we did the first one back here. Remember what I said? What's important about underneath? Control-Shift-6. Cool. Do you remember what I said had to be true about underneath when you put the tiles in? It needs to make a shape. That's your control. Oh, good to know. Control-Shift-6. That's your closure. Remember, it's most important to make sure that those tiles fill in to make that rectangle, right? Completely fill them in with each of those parts. So when you're ready, head over to Schoology. And you're going to open up the Lesson 10 assignment. And the Lesson 10 assignment is going to be Google Slides, just like what you did for Lesson 6. It's going to be problems like this, and then on each of the slides, you should be able to, on the left-hand side of those slides, there are stacks of tiles. So you'll be able to drag and drop from those piles, and then you could use the shortcut like I showed you back here on slide 2 or slide 4, example 2. Otherwise, you should have plenty of tiles to be able to drag and drop from on that. So we've got about 10 minutes left in class. I'm going to leave you here.